first to guard the unity that we have and to fight for the unity that will produce patience in the congregation, that will produce forgiveness in the congregation, that will produce love in the congregation, that will produce understanding and meekness and long suffering. All those things, before they can be produced, have to be purposed in the heart. It's a heart attitude. I had a brother come to me last week and said to me, you know, there's something happening here that's not right. Someone is going around sharing things that we don't teach. So I analyzed the situation, I heard the situation, and I made a ruling, a decision. But that's not the point. The point is, look at the heart of this joint. This joint was receiving nourishment in this congregation for many years. And when that person perceived that there was something that was going to cause the body to not move in one accord, or that potentially could sow some kind of discord or disunity, that person came to me and we dealt with it, and I told them how it should be dealt with. Isn't that neat? Because they did not want anything to hinder that unity that Yahweh had put in our midst. Because Yahweh wants us to have that unity. Now let's continue. So that growth, now let me change that. Yahweh demands that we have that unity. Big difference. To the world, unity is optional. Bipartisanship, whatever. That's optional. In the kingdom of Yahweh, that's not an option. If we're going to accomplish anything, if we're going to reach more prisoners, if we're going to reach more pastors in Brooklyn, if we're going to reach more people on the internet, we have to have our house united, because a house divided against itself cannot stand. If there's 100 people in this synagogue, and one person runs around sowing discord, division, and is a free thinker, if you don't bind that free thinking, rebellious spirit, because what the world calls free thinking, the kingdom calls a spirit of Korach. Think about that while I sit. You have the right to criticize the leadership, and you have the right to criticize one another outside the assembly, away from the assembly, because then Yahweh is going to zap you upside the head individually. But you don't have the right to bring it in here. You have the right to think things through doctrinally until you walk in the door. You have the right to keep things in your heart that you're not 100% sure of until you come into the congregation. But once you're here, it is an acknowledgement that I am here to get with the program. Even the parts of the program that I don't necessarily agree with, even the parts of the program that I don't necessarily subscribe to, because I am here to further the unity and not to hinder the unity. Why are you here? That's what you have to ask yourself. Did Yahweh put me here? Well, if Yahweh put me here, then I'm here not to hinder the established unity, but to perfect the established unity that will even grow stronger. Make any sense? That's why we don't have problems here. We don't have problems. Troublemakers, gossipers, Lashon Hara, they don't leave. It is your job and my job to make it uncomfortable for these problematic people to leave. Because we don't want to deal with their problems that they bring upon themselves. You follow me? If they have personal problems, we'll try to help them. No problem. No problem. That's why we're here. We're here to minister to people. But if you are going to sow discord and so someone comes to you and says, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? I don't know. I'm in agreement with the congregation. Yeah, but wasn't that, don't you think that was the wrong thing? I'm in agreement with the congregation. After 2 or 3 times, that person's not going to come to you anymore, because they know you have nothing, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to go somewhere else to see if they can find someone else to listen to them. Right. Make sense? I don't know. I'm with the rabbi. Yeah, but don't you see that he's this, and Rebbitzon's this, and Tehilah's that, and Beltrami, don't you see these things? Listen, I told you once, I'm going to tell you again. Whatever the congregation holds in community, and they understand, and they hold the doctrine, I agree. I agree with everything going on here. Everything. Now, in your heart, there may be things that you question. Then you go right to the leadership and bring it to their attention and see if you can settle these things that are in your heart. Go right to the leadership. But don't go to another joint that is called to give out nourishment to the body when that nourishment can be hindered. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So growth is achieved by making sure and purposing to believe and to stand fast in what Yeshua is ministering through the leadership. And another way to say it, through the pulpit. The pulpit, or the bema, which just got a little bit bigger, is kadosh ground. I'll say that again. The bema, the leadership, being here in the worship area, this is kadosh ground. The whole congregation is kadosh, but there is kadosh ground. Why do I say that? I say that because then we have healthy respect for what Yahweh is doing in the kingdom. Do you see the bema, the pulpit is kadosh ground? Not perfect. There's nothing perfect. You're not perfect. So how is leadership going to be perfect? But that has nothing to do with unity. Unity is something you purpose in your heart to achieve with others in like community. It's something you purpose, like love, like forgiveness, like compassion, rachamim, chesed. These are all things you've got to fight for and you've got to purpose in your heart in order to achieve. Correct? It doesn't come by osmosis. Same with the guard of unity. I purpose to be echad. I will not listen. And when someone comes in from the outside and tries to point in a different direction than those joints that are being nourished in this common joint compound, I'm going to go right to the leadership and say, Rabbi, listen, these three people, they came in, this is what they said, this is what they're sharing, this is what they're spreading. What do you think? Tehillah, what do you think? Guard the unity. There, Yahweh will command the blessing. If we had applied these principles, we wouldn't have had the tragedy we had on Pesach, where one person upset a congregation of 80 people by convincing some that Passover was the wrong day and that we were doing it the wrong way. One person, a little leaven, a little chametz, leavens the whole lump. But if you were prepared ahead of time to guard the unity that was in this congregation, that incident could never have happened. It could never have gotten out of hand. Look at verse 16. Ephesians 4:16. From whom the whole body joined. In other words, what I'm saying to you is, even if you're right in what you believe, Yahweh is not concerned about you being right. He's concerned to preserve the unity, the bond of unity, so that love can manifest. Love is not the bond of unity. The bond of unity is a purpose of heart to be joined together and bonded in unity so that love can permeate as a result of that unity. You cannot achieve love without unity. You can purpose it all you want. First, you've got to have unity so that love can be a byproduct of that unity. And read Yochanan 17 if you think that that's not correct. Father, I pray that they are one, even as you and I are one, so that they may be one in my love, even as I am one in your love. Meaning, the love is a byproduct of unity. Love is not some spiritual gobbledygook concept that comes from the Ruach HaKodesh without a struggle in a corporate setting. You can have love directly from the Ruach HaKodesh, but if you're going to preserve it and maintain it and guard it and grow it, that love would grow in a corporate setting, you're going to have to fight the good fight of guardianship and waging war for that unity. What does that mean? You got something to say about him? I'm not listening. Not just the rabbi. Someone wants to come and speak about our brother sitting there, Lloyd. Hey, did you hear what Lloyd did? He really did that? Hey, yo, time out.
Yeah, that's it.
Listen to me. If you've got a problem with what Lloyd is doing, then go speak to Lloyd. But I'm not going to sit here and then I'm going to start meditating on what you're telling me Lloyd is doing, and then I can't keep my mouth shut, so I'm going to go tell somebody else what somebody came to me, and before you know it, there's 5 people, and the discord has been sown. Mishlei chapter 6, 7 things Yahweh hates. He that sows discord among brothers is one of those things that he hates. It's more important for Yahweh that this assembly be united than that the doctrine is 100% correct. You and I need to start learning to major on the majors and not on the minors. Some of us have hang-ups. We were specialists in taking things that are minor things, moles, and creating these mountains in our lives. Getting quiet now. It's all right. I'll just keep going on. So the pulpit is kadosh ground. When I'm in an assembly, and I'm one of these joints that Yahweh has put into the body, I have to see the pulpit, the podium, as Kadosh Baruch.